Yeah, welcome everyone. This is Desi Vijay. I'm a North-South National Team member and a coordinator for webinars. I'm glad to see you all here today. Today we are bringing an important topic to help with our parents and youngsters. We have been conducting these free webinars for the past 3 years. We have done so on various topics like contests, education, professional development, soft skills, medical, dietary, etc. But so far, I could not find a presenter to talk about the financial education. Most of us are generally experts in our professional skills, very well versed and up to date with the tech skills, and well educated. But in general, we are not that competent in financial skills, both in educational curriculum and personal education. This topic is always pushed to the back. We are really glad to have a couple of experts here to talk to you in plain English and educate you, at least start the process in that area. I'm really glad that we are here to make this happen, and welcome to yet another exciting webinar. Before we proceed further, let me get the usual housekeeping comments out of the way quickly. This webinar is being recorded as we speak now, and then we will send you a link in a day or two. There are some of the past webinars are also available in our North-South YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the channel and then watch them at your leisure. If you have any questions you want to ask the speaker, please type them out in the questions or chat tab you have. We would collect them and ask the speaker on your behalf after the presentation is completed. Please be patient and please do not keep repeating the question. We do it on the order we receive it, and it's only makes us very difficult for us to wait through all these duplicates as we go to the session question and answer time. Please also note that we will try to address all your questions. However, if there is a time limit, we don't want to keep going after an hour and a half. So if your question is not specifically asked, maybe a similar question was asked and answered, or we are simply running out of time. But nevertheless, if you feel your question was not adequately answered, please send us an email to webinars@northsouth.org, and we will get the response from the speakers and then send it to you. Thank you for your understanding and help. We have one poll question we want to ask you before we start to just understand where we the audience level are. Please respond to it quickly. And also before you leave, please fill in the feedback questions. They are important to both us as an organizers and also to the presenters to determine how they fared today and what we can do to improve, and what you are thinking about the whole session is. Please really respond to that feedback. It pops up after that session, and then we appreciate your help. And finally, take this opportunity. Thank you all for a series of successful webinars thus far. Because of your encouragement and support, we were able to look for many more topics and discussions and look for experts in that areas. But we would like you have more participation and in presenting a session, or making suggestions for future ones and participating in the discussions, etc. If you're interested in a topic or you can be a presenter for a topic, please let us know at webinars@northsouth.org, and I will pursue further with you. Thank you for listening. Let me go on to the scheduled program. Next, we move on to the main program, Personal Finance 101, Do's and Don'ts to Secure Your Future. We have very dedicated professional planners amongst us today to talk to us and share their knowledge and experience with us. It really gives me a great pleasure to welcome Jyoti Shahati and Praveena Nadutota. Jyoti is a licensed financial planner and senior marketing director based in Chicago area. She has been advising families on personal finance topics by hosting sessions through the organizations and communities. She's licensed in Illinois and many other states. Professionally, she's working in a software industry, and she has a degree in engineering. We have the other presenter, Pravina. He's also a licensed financial planner and a marketing director. He's based on Boston area, and similarly, he's advising families on personal finance topics by hosting sessions through organizations and communities. He is licensed in Massachusetts and multiple states, and also certified in college counseling. Pravina studied mechanical engineering with the MBA and works as a director in a multinational. Let me join you in warmly welcoming them, and then I know you're all waiting for them to talk, so I don't want to take any more time. Here you go, Jyoti and Praveen.
Thanks, Vijay. Thanks for the warm welcome. Thanks for all the arrangements. It's good to see a lot of people. When I saw the poll and when I saw the really good age distribution, that's really encouraging. One of the things we do, this is for those who are young adults, those who are in college or high school seniors. We do conduct sessions for young adults to teach about personal finance. So if you go through school system, whether it's in India or in US, one of the things lacking is not having financial education as part of the curriculum. So we are happy to do that. Last year we conducted it, was been a great success. So like Vijay introduced, so I'm in Boston area. I'm licensed in life and health. So we advise families. So one of the things that we noticed is when you look into the financial planning, we need to have the holistic planning. That's what we'll try to address. We try to give overview in today's session. So the typical example is like if you call somebody for, let's say, life insurance. So he's going to talk just about life insurance, and he says that's the most important thing in your financial planning. Next, you call somebody for college planning, and he will advise you to put all your money into college planning and nothing else. And then you call estate planning, and then the focus shifts. So what we try to do is when we talk to the families, we try to go through all aspects of financial planning and try to give a balanced view on that. And there'll be some common factor, right? Most of us are first generation immigrants. And so we came through like, initially our focus is getting the green card and maybe then buying the houses, then kids college. And by the time we do all that, then we realize, we are lacking a lot of things in financial planning. So when we talk to the families, typically, concept like long-term care is not very well understood. So estate planning is maybe people understood, but they're not done it. Even the personal protection. So whenever you see this, GoFundMe messages, my heart goes out. The people who spend, a lot of money on Starbucks and other places, if they spend one Starbucks coffee value to protection, maybe, you don't have to go for GoFundMe. So those things we try to do as a community service. So that's why we call ourselves as financial educators, not as licensed professionals, because we want to help the community and bring the education. So the holistic planning is important. Then the other thing is, I know the disclaimer, I think Jyoti is going to share the screen in a minute. So, all the information we share is treated as, you do your homework, just like any other information that comes through. With that, my message today is when we do this, let's do the holistic planning. Education is the key thing, so let's get the financial education. So we also have regularly conduct the workshop, so you can use those workshops to educate yourself. Do you want to share the screen?
I am sharing. Don't you see?
Yeah, now we can see. So today what we'll do is we'll go through a series of do's and don'ts, meaning, Vijay is kind enough to give hour and a half of time. But when you think about all the different aspects of financial planning. We cannot go through everything, but we will bring some of the major highlight in each of these areas so that this is trigger some thought process. If you've done some of these things, if it is repetition, you can skip that part. But if it is something new information, and we are always available, you can call us back for a detailed consultation and one-on-one consultation. I always say this, finance is always personal, so you don't want to share a lot of information in the public. But if you have general questions, you can ask that at the end of the session. So with that, talked about holistic planning. So it's important to think about all aspects of that. So, if you think from retirement planning, it's very different from college education, very different from protection that you need, estate planning. So we cover all these different topics. In the next slide, Jyoti is going to talk about the upcoming sessions.
Okay. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Jyoti. I'm based in Naperville, Chicago area. I started this financial education, took license, and got interested. And 5 years back, I started to know myself, right? So even though I work in IT and not knowing many things about personal finance, we work and we go through just company benefits, we update, and then we talk to colleagues and okay, do this, do that, not really getting advice from the licensed professional, right? So that's where I was lacking when my kids were going to in the high school. They were going to college. Then I wanted to learn about the college planning. Then I thought, okay, there is so more to it, right? So I added on top of that, I started, okay, let me go into this area, learn about it. So I attended some of the webinars, workshops. I got educated. Then I wanted to be part of it, help families. So I took a license and then I started this as a business. So helping communities. And then after that, after I started, the pandemic hit. Then everybody was comfortable with the Zoom. So we started doing a Zoom webinars in the pandemic time and connected organizations, helped many families. And at those times, everybody was panic and everybody was like, sitting at home, right? It's easy for us to reach them also, and also them to be on the Zoom and learn about these workshops. So as Praveen also said, right, we do workshops on all ages group, including from young adults to all the way, people who are retiring, even right, every ages we need aspects of educating ourselves. And it's not just you do once and set for whole life. Things change, technology changes, products change. Always go back and review all your finances, right? And even many times when I reviewed the protection, people buy many years, they not looked at it and they said, yeah, we bought something, we don't know what it is. Not understanding. When I reviewed them, I felt that it's a wrong one, right? So they didn't realize that. So always we say that, do the checklist kind of, financial review, or at least once in 2 years, right? And position yourself, and maybe better options available. Also go back to this what you had it and at least get educated and understand what that does to you, for you and your family. So if we do these different workshops, we do once in 2 weeks, conduct the workshops. And this Thursday we are doing a workshop on Wilson Trust. We work with estate planning attorneys. We're having them to come and educate, and this is Thursday at 7 p.m. we are doing this session to just to educate on this topic, why somebody needs to do the Wilson Trust. So like that, we conduct deeper onto each different topics. For investment, also many investments. And before going to investments, we cover the base, as Praveen said, don't jump into the investment. Long-term care and then Medicare. So we are maybe next month we are going to do webinars on the Medicare, and also we started a visitor insurance. Understanding once we understood, we felt that there is more into it, right? So we started that as well. And if anybody interested in any of these workshops, I think Vijay is going to put the group link, WhatsApp group link. You can join, and you can ask any questions to us. If something we did not address in the session, you can ask us. We are happy to answer any questions. There is no question is a silly question. We're happy to be there and help as much as possible, any information you need. So we want to give the education so that you make a right decision. So that's what we always don't think when you think about financial planning, right? Last week I was talking to someone, just go to the, what do? You go to banks and meet the financial planner, right? But then what they say is they always ask how much money you have, how much you can put money for investments. They always start with the investment. They don't do the basic analysis of how it should be, what order it should be, right? So always don't think it's an investment is a you have a financial planner, but don't think it is a investment is a way to go in the beginning. So yeah, so with that, I will cover most of topics, and Pravina is going to cover a few topics. Yeah, and in the when we meet any families, right, we go with the how you're starting your financial foundation, right? So it's like building a house, right? We want to build it from the ground up. Do you have a proper protection? Protection meaning that if I talk about life insurance, people not interested. Maybe some people don't need a life insurance, right? Protecting of what? Protecting ourselves. When I talk about families, when we ask them what is your biggest asset in the household, they always say, okay, there is a kids or in a house or different things. They never think about it's like, they are the actually biggest asset in the household, right? So we need to protect ourselves. We protect cars, we protect house, we protect others, right? Not thinking about protecting ourselves. We think, oh, nothing is going to happen to us, right? What happens if something happened to us? Our pay stop is stop coming, right? We are alive. How do we protect ourselves? That's called long-term care. So understand what is long-term care, who pays for it. So we are going to cover that on the protection side. And also protecting your assets, right? You work so hard for the money. How do you make money, save and protect and grow, right? So don't put everything in one basket. Diversification plus also risk portfolio. Don't go into everything into the risk portfolio. Then next layer, we always say that, okay, if you have any debts, right, auto loan, credit card loans, that is the next to clear out that, right? And then next off, we go with how much emergency fund you have. Let's say we always say that 3 to 5 months of your expenses should be in emergency fund in case if you lose a job, anything in between, you need to have some backup. Then plan for the investments. So build a house from the ground up, not if you don't start from the roof, if you start from the investment, if you start the house from the roof, that it will not sustain. So that's what we say, that building a strong financial foundation starts from this ground up.
So on the do side, so always count on the tax impact, right? So whenever we make an investment, we have to think about, how does it work from the tax perspective? So if you look at in general in Indian community, financially we are doing well. We work mostly in the high tech and technology field. Those are all the blessing we have. But at the same time, when you plan for that, so there are different brackets. When we make the investment, what we call as tax now bracket, tax later bracket, and tax advantage bracket. So tax now is like if you put the money in CDs or savings, or if you have a brokerage account, and if you buy and sell stocks, when you make the money, it's a good problem to have, but you have to pay taxes right away. Whereas if you have in tax deferred account or tax later account, so like 401k account, so you can contribute up to 22,500. If you're below 50 and above 50 up to 30,000 a year from your employment, or if you're self-employed, you can set up your retirement accounts. One thing to be clear, a lot of people make a mistake that if you contribute to 401k, it's not taxed. That is not the case. It's taxed. It is not taxed now. It is tax deferred. It goes tax-free. But when you draw the money back, it becomes ordinary income. So that is something to be understood. And later we're going to talk about different ways to save for the retirement. Pension. A lot of companies don't offer pension anymore. But if you're lucky to work for a company which offers a pension as part of your retirement plan, annuities, and also some other benefits like social security we're going to touch upon today. So those are the tax later bracket. On the tax advantage bracket, so if we have Roth IRA, for example, you're making the contribution after tax, but when you draw the money, after the age 15 and a half, that money is tax free. you can contribute towards 529 college plan where the growth is not taxed. So when it comes to college financial planning, we typically talk to the parents and walk them through different scenarios. Sometimes 529 makes sense for some parents and maybe not for some other parents. So that's where we had to go through the individual by individual basis. Life insurance, so this is the one which is less understood in terms of tax advantage growth strategy. Um, you know, we suggest to families where they need the protection as well as grow the money tax free. One of the benefit of having this permanent life insurance is when the investment grows, it also grows the protection. And at a later time, you can draw the money to pay for, let's say, colleges or use it as a retirement. And HSA is the other account where if your employer provides that, you contribute towards that, and there could be employer matching there, and the money, if it is unused, it grows tax free. So, and that can be used for future health benefits. So these are the different tax brackets. And the other thing we look into also rate of return. So a lot of the people are very, very conservative in their approach to the money. They will say, oh, I don't want to take any risk. But then what happens if you don't take any risk? There is a certain amount of calculated risk you have to take. That's where we talk about what is called as rule of 72, meaning if you grow your money, let's say 4% a year, then it'll take 18 years to double the money. Let's say you have $10,000 and you're putting somewhere, you get 4% return, then it takes 18 years to double the money. Let's say you are very aggressive and grow the money, 12% a year, then it takes 6 years to double, right? So the reason we show this is, some people are very conservative in their approach and put all their money in, let's say, checking account. You may be making, 0.5% or 1%. If you think about 1% rate of return, it takes 720 years to double the money, right? That's a very long time. So this is where we can use, diversification and think about different ways to grow the money. So the next thing we talk about is start your financial planning sooner. So whenever you put the money in, let's say 401k, or if you make the stock, portfolio investment, part of your growth is because you have power of compounding. So we always use this case of, Mr. Start Early versus Mr. Wait Longer. Let's take, two situations. One, the first person here, I know we have a lot of young adults in this call today. Let's say at the age 25, start investing, 3,600 a year up to the age 31. And let's take case A and B, start early and wait longer. Both are in a similar situation. The investment is growing at 8% a year. And let's say the first person started investing at the age 25 and stopped at the age 31. Second person started investing at the age 32. He's trying to catch up with the first person. It takes, up to the age 48 for him to catch up. Now, the first person has made a contribution of 2,500, whereas 25,000. Second person has to contribute 61,000 to be at the same place. We always say this, people tend to postpone the decision when it comes to financials, right? Oh, we can do it. We have other things to take care. But you have to make time for this because this is critical in the long run. Again, age is relative things. If you're in your 40s and think, oh, I'm late for this. No, there are people in 60s. They think, we should have done when you were in 40s. So when you have this, sit down and have discussion with us or with the education you get. If you do it yourself, it'll be good.
Okay. So, many people when we talk, right? Also, before going to this, I always say that, involve both spouses into the conversation of when we in the financial planning, right? Many times, I talk to many women, right? They said, oh, my husband is, taken care of it, some protection from the employer. They don't even understand, right? Where it is, how much it is, where it's put. If something happened to the husband, woman doesn't know. I dealt with many of my clients. It happened that she said, I have no idea what my husband did it, where is it and all, right? So we always, even some cases, woman does all the things, but husband does not. But we always say that, When we talk one-on-one, we involve both spouses to be part of it. It's a basic things, right? It's even may not be not interested in the finance, but then it is the basic things for our family to know what we are done, where are the things are there, if something happens, how it is going to deliver, to the beneficiaries, right? So this is one question, everybody is relying only on the, okay, I've taken a work through the work protection policy from work, but there is huge difference taking coverage from outside and the work one. So always we say that, work one base, by default, they offer 1 to 3 times of your salary, which is not enough to protect our family, right? We recommend there is a formula we go through, 10 times of your income should be protection to be added, right? But sometimes even though through work, they go up for a, okay, let's say, okay, $5 paycheck, let me go with a higher amount, or $10 paycheck. They do that. I also did it, that mistake too. I realized that, but what happens if you're buying the same premium, right? $10 per paycheck. You could buy outside with the same additional protection, but then it will not increase the premium. It will stay further depending on how many, 10 year, 20 year, 30 years policies you buy. Whereas the work one, every enrollment period comes, we don't have a control on premium increasing, right? So that's why we wanted to buy something outside, even though in between job you're protected, but even the price will stay for that many years what you bought for, right? And also this is another very, very, very important point I wanted to press on people who are relying on the work policy, even if they take an extra. It happened to one of my client, he got a policy from me and then health got changed, and then he went to the work and he wanted to get increased to 1 million, right? But they declined it because he had a health situation. He got declined stage 4 cancer. That point I didn't know that his wife told me, work one they denied it. Then they come back to me when they said they want to buy it, but that time is too late because health is changed, right? They cannot issue the policy. Whatever policy he bought it, but at least it protected him that time when he was healthy. So we always say that when you are healthy.
But your voice is a little bit fading. Maybe you want to come closer to the mic.
Yeah, we always say that when you are healthy, protect yourself not to. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. So we always say that, protect yourself when you're healthy, not to wait for, something happens and come back and say, oh, I needed a policy. Last week, another family happened to me, and then they were not ready when I explained to them. And she came back and said, my husband, got into some A1C issue. So can we apply right now? Right now we are ready. But I said, we can try it, but I'm not sure he'll get the better rating, right? We may qualify, we may not qualify. It's all based on underwriter decision. Also, what happens if you stop working, right? People, think that buying insurance is just a protection, not the investment. So we do have a, investment permanent policies, which has a cash building where they can protect, right, for a whole life, right? What happens if they stop working after the retirement? They want to buy, that time policy, that time is too late, plus it's too older, and then its premium will be higher, right? So why not when we are young, when we are buy it in but covers for a whole life, and also you can build the cash value in there, right? So and also work one, if you are relying on the work one, the policy will not cover if anything happened to the person, the money will not be getting from the policy, right? Whereas even though buying a term policy outside, they can get the money from the policy. If something happened to the person, like chronically, critically ill, you can get the money from the term policy as well. So whereas the work one, that does not have that riders. So we need to educate one-on-one what that rider and what how it works and all. So we do personalize on the protection. Yeah.
So there are different ways, like what you was explaining. There are different ways you can buy the financial protection through the insurance. It's a lot more complicated than, let's say, the situation in India, how you get offered with the insurance. You can go for what is called a term life insurance, similar to the car insurance, right? As long as you're paying the premium, you're covered. If you stop paying, you're not covered, and you don't get any money back, right? So that's typically what we call a term. It's cheaper because you don't get the money back. So you can buy for 5, 10, 20, 30 years, depending on what horizon you're looking for. What to get through the work is called as group term. There, one thing is when you buy the insurance, you go through the health. They want to make sure you get the health check and you get the rating from the insurance companies. When you do the group term, typically there is no health check because insurance companies are taking, the whole employee population in the risk category. Some may be young, some may be old, some may be very healthy, some may not be healthy. So they take chance in their own group. So that's why, it's not transferable, right? So if you leave the employment, then that coverage is gone. We also ask people to look into, permanent life where you are covered for rest of your life. There are, different kinds of option there. What's called as whole life, universal life, variable life, and index universal life. The first three are there for a while. The whole life, you are assured of certain percentage of growth. In the case of universal life, you get invested in, interest earning, like the bond kind of products. The return is variable based on that. Variable universal life is very similar to your 401k. You will have a set of portfolios where you can invest. The one that is very popular, especially this came after 2008 market crash, is index universal life, where your investment is protected in the sense you will always make a minimum growth in that, what is called as floor, and there is a cap on the other side. It becomes very attractive because there is no like a 30%, 40% adjustment to your portfolio if the market crashes, right? So this came as a result of 2008 market situation, and a lot of, especially Indian population, a lot of people buy this because it not only provides the protection, it also provides the growth in the marketplace. So there are different options you need to look into, what works for you. Then the second thing we talk about is the protecting the beneficiary. So Jyoti talked about a few cases. I had a case very, very recently. Husband, wife, husband suddenly passed away. Wife is in a situation where the bank accounts are in husband's name and she cannot access money, even though they have the money. They have to go through the probate court. So we want to avoid those situations. That's where we do, suggest families to do the estate planning. In the case of estate planning, there are few documents that we prepare as part of the estate planning. Durable power of attorney, and then will, trust, and healthcare director. So also called as healthcare proxy. That is part of that. So we advise families on that, and we have, in our group there are lawyers who can help in doing this. This, people think it takes a lot of time to do this. That is not true, and it need not have to be very expensive. So it depends on how you form it. Typically, a simple will and trust formation should not cost too much. So this is something, this is needed for everyone. Probably you realize this already. In this country, inheritance is not automatic, right? So unless you have documentation to prove that, otherwise it goes to probate court. It could take a lot of money and effort to get there. And if you have younger children below the age 18, guardianship is a big deal. So if something happens to the parents, then the state take custody of the children. So this could avoid a lot of those heartaches. So this is something we always suggest everybody to do. And when you think about retirement, count Social Security as part of your retirement, right? So, the first thing to do is to have an account, create in Social Security SSA.gov. My account, if you don't have an account, you can create it. And then planning around that, we do a lot of workshops and information session on this. Typically, when you turn to age 62, you can get the benefit from Social Security. But if you wait longer, you can get more benefit. So typically for most people, 67 is a full age of retirement. That's when you get 100% benefit. But if you delay it up to the age 70, if you're healthy, if you think, you can wait longer. So every year that you wait, you get 8% more. So if you wait 3 years, you can get another 25% more. Again, it depends on your individual situation. We also go through details about spousal coverage, survivor benefit, which is typically very confusing to understand.
Yeah, next is long-term care. I would like to impress on, enforce on this one, because when I talk about families or friends, I ask them, do you know about long-term care? 99% of they don't know. They think long-term care, Medicare will take care of us, or we have a health insurance will take care of us, right? So long-term care is something. It's not, again. So another excuse they give is, okay, I have a long-term disability through work, but long-term disability through work will give only 60% of your pay, right? The other 40% of the pay will stop coming. And also there is we need to aware of the cost. If someone gets into situation, if long-term care needed, who pays for it, right? So health insurance does not cover. Medicare will pay only portion of it, that 200 days. That remaining days, we don't know how long, when we need it, how long we need it, we have no control. So who pays for it, right? So Medicare won't cover, health insurance don't cover. Medicaid will cover the long-term care expense, but you have to be bankrupt, like you need to have assets which is below $2,000 on your name. Most of us will not qualify for it because we have assets, we have a retirement account, and we have a house, right? So will not come under the Medicaid. So we need to know, there is a long-term care.gov website if you want to know more about the long-term care, who pays for it, how much cost. Each state has a different cost. So depending on where we take it. So if you have a protection on this, they pay for it, but you can use it for anybody, right? So that's about the long-term care. And again, the long-term care cost does increase based on your inflation also. What we saw right now in the state website, it may not be same price when 10 years from now, right? So that's why protect yourself. If anything happens to us, how do we protect ourselves for the long-term care cost raising, right? And who covers for it? If you have any policies, I had my old policies, I rolled over and bought a new one and added these long-term care riders so that I can get the long-term care benefit if I need it anytime in my life. If I never use it, of course, the money is there, sitting there, it becomes a death benefit plus the cash value, right? So that's about the long-term care. If you guys want to know one-on-one or want to have a more resources on the learning about long-term care, you can reach out to us. We're happy to share the long-term care materials. And next one, the Medicare, right? When we think about Medicare, we are contributing through Medicare. Medicare we pay for, from the paycheck, right? We think it's going to be totally free health. We get it when we 65, right? When we get the Medicare, when we stop working, there is no health insurance. Medicare, you can take it from when you're 65, but it does not cover the full benefits. There are some part A, part B only, basic thing is free, but then you have to take the supplements, Medicare supplements to, then who pays for those costs, right? So don't think that Medicare, you will not have a Medicare cost in the retirement. That's culture. That should be, you should count part of your retirement planning as well. And also when we talk about the college, any families, last month I met a couple. They just came back from India, and they saw it's like 2 huge college expenses here. They said, okay, we wanted to save for a college. I know the prices it's very high here because in India never saw that expensive, right? Then they said they started a college fund and all. Then when I met them, I told them, I know it's very, we always want to give everything to kids, and we wanted to make sure they don't have loans and all, but don't put everything in there, diversify, then that's what people put everything into college expenses. So diversify your when the order we said, right, you diversify, you protect yourself, you save for yourself, then think for the college planning expenses, right? Because if kids need a loan for a college loan, they get it, but when we need a loan for our retirement, nobody gives. When we need a loan for our long-term care, nobody gives for us, right? So that's why, don't put all into your college expenses, all your savings. Diversify your investments. Again, college cost projection. I know there is a projection, right? We know college cost is increasing wherever we go, private or public colleges, universities, right? It's a huge expense. that we see that, but then there is a, we do the analysis and find out, how you can get the financial aid based on where you positioned your money. Based on that, you are eligible for the financial aid. So that's what I did. After I got into this, I planned myself for my kids. When now three were in a college when I went. Now two came out of the college, and then I able to do diversification. Plus, I able to manage it how and all where I should position so that I can eligible for the financial aid.
So the other thing on college, we talked about it being very expensive. Some people may not be able to get all the money in the savings, and then may have to go for the loans. So one of the things we suggest is, if you think about you have to take a loan, is it better to take in your name versus kids' name, right? If you look at somebody who's going to college now and graduate at the age 22, 23, they have their lifetime to pay back in case if they take the loan, right? So let's say another 40, 45 years, whereas the parents in their 40s or early 50s, there's only so much time you have to build your retirement nest egg, right? So the other thing is, if you look statistically, 2 out of 3 students who went to college took the college loan an average of 30,000. And then, cost of college is going up, higher than inflation, always 8-9% it's going up. So if you're in a situation where you have to take the loan, so, think about who should take the loan, whether you need to co-sign on this, if it is not needed, whether you should do it at all. So those are the things you need to do your homework before you're signing on. The bottom line is, I know, we all are here and doing really well because of the education we got, because of the sacrifices our parents do. But at the same time, we had to be pragmatic when it comes to, how do you finance your college education, kids' college education. The bottom line is students have much more time to pay back the loans than the parents. So the other do's we talk about is diversification is key. We always hear about some of the people who put all their money into their company stock. For example, if you're not in the diversification, then your fortune goes up and down with the company stock. So that may not be a smart way to do when you think about investment. So you should always think about different ways you can do the investment. Even if you're in stocks and bonds, different mutual funds, and then if possible, into different kinds of investment. So we do sessions on those, real estate investment, IRS, in supplement your 401ks, annuities, and permanent life insurance. So one feature in the annuity and life insurance is generally you don't lose money on that. So if you're taking risk on a lot of your other portfolios, you can compensate by having something where you're rest assured you're not losing money on some of the other investments. So you need to have that balanced view so that even if there is a short-term hiccup in the market, you're not suffering in the long term.
Okay, so many families, right? When I was doing for my kids FAFSA, so FAFSA is an application. You do it when the kids are in high school, last year in high school, to know that how much financial aid we qualify for it. Many people don't do it. They think they don't qualify for to get the financial aid, but we don't know, right? So it's a free application anyway. Don't assume and then not do it, right? I said it's free anyway. Just do it and see. And what you might qualify for a financial aid. Sometimes the Biden had some rule, right? On the COVID time, they gave a student forgiveness, right? If they will know only people who did the FAFSA, because how they have a data, right? That's why just do the FAFSA. Even if you don't get it, at least their data is there in the federal financial aid. There are when you do FAFSA, there are so many options you get, subsidized loan, unsubsidized loan. So there is options you can bet. Some loans are cheaper than buying outside. So this is we do conduct sessions on this as well. How to do FAFSA, why you have to do it. Usually we do it on August and September, because FAFSA opens up on October 1st. So we always say that do it as soon as it opens up. So because there is some pool of money you are eligible to get the aids. The sooner you do it, better it is. So we do go through the detailed sessions on the FAFSA on that frame. People who are interested, they can reach out to us. They can attend this webinar on FAFSA. And so when I think of,
yeah, when I think about retirement, so it's on 3 focus areas we talk about. So everybody know if you set the money aside for 401k or in IRA account, ultimately it's to supplement income when you retire from the work and enjoy the life and do other things that you were not able to do when you're working, like maybe doing the yoga on the International Yoga Day, just focus on that or go out and travel. So there are 3 areas. So one is the income. Where does the income come from, right? So setting aside when you're working so that it grows. And when you get to the retirement, we need to be conservative in the investment so that you will not lose the money. There are different kind of options. For example, there are you can have a fixed income coming from annuity investment, for example. So you can have different things where you're assured of the income so that you can peacefully enjoy your retirement. The second piece is the healthcare. We talked about Medicare, but Medicare will not provide for everything. So this is where we review our Medicare coverage and see what supplement you should have, what kind of coverage you should have. And the third thing that we talked about is the long-term care, right? So long-term care is something that generally when we talk to the Indian community, there's not enough knowledge on this. This is something critical. So if you're not done for, enough planning for long-term care, everything else that you really worked hard and saved could be going for the long-term care coverage. So that's where you need to be, you need to have the balanced view on that.
Yeah, so when we talk about the retirement vehicle, right, we think only 401k is our retirement vehicle. But some people don't even know what is 401k. They don't even contribute it, right? I know it saves our tax, and plus, it's you can't touch the money plus till 59 and a half, So, but then, there are many retirement vehicle options available. You can grow as a tax-free, and then like Roth IRAs, right? There is other components also. You can start contributing when you're early, so that you have a balanced portfolio of taking the retirement money from different places, right? Like for 401k is for all employees, 403b and for teachers who are contributing retirement plan. Some people switch the jobs, right? They still have a old 401k sitting in a previous accounts, but they never looked at it, they never updated, right? I always ask them, okay, what you're doing, are you managing? They said, I never logged in, I don't even know where it is. Always, okay, if you have a previous 401k, there is options that you can convert and make it as IRA, so that you have more chances of investing into multiple funds, right? So, these are very, very important to understand. I know retirement, you should think when you are right now, right? Not at the retirement age, right? How much I'll be getting and where is my money, and how I should position my asset now so that I have a comfortable, replacing my pay stub is coming from my retirement accounts, right? So the pension, nobody gets pension. So if you you can have your own pension generated, if you don't get from your employer. So we do have a pension plans with the lifetime income options, and then 401ks is the one you can rely. And social security, I know we do, everybody gets social security if you reach a 40 credits, but then social security, again, don't rely only on the social security, right? Again, you have to pay tax on the social security. 401k also you have to pay tax, right? So annuities you can buy, and so that you have lifetime income. So diversify, portfolio, and then have a safe place, some portion in the safe place and some portion in the risk portfolio, so that you want to have a growth on that. So again, this I covered. So as you measure, Medicare is not same as a free health insurance.
So when we talk about different topics that we discussed today, we started with the protection. We talked about estate planning. We talked about college planning, retirement planning, everything. So one other element that we see as an important part is also money repatriation and the tax implication for most of us between assets that we have in India and here. So you may be sending the money for the upkeep of a family, or you may have an investment there or inheritance there. You may want to bring that money to US. So always think about the tax implications. So the rules are very different, as you know. Just as an example, let's say you buy a house in US. So you know the cost basis for that. It never changes. You might have invested money on upkeeping the house. Some of the upgrades you might have done that adds to the cost basis, but it never changes. And then when you sell, you know what the long-term gain is. Whereas the cost basis, how it's calculated in India, is very different. I'm just giving this as an example. So there is indexing you do, which will consider inflation, and your cost basis will change depending on the indexing. So that's one such example. And also there are requirements, from the tax perspective. If you are earning certain things, if you're doing certain transactions between the countries, you need to report that. Also, sometimes you may be foregoing some of the benefits. So if you have paid taxes, let's say in India, you can get the tax credit for that. So this is one area we have done some workshops and seminars, and it's really helpful. If you have any major transaction coming up, it's always good to do some homework. And if you don't fully understand, reach out to the experts in the area. We always conduct workshop on this. We get a lot of questions and a lot of people participating in this. And sometimes rules are very confusing, but we need to comply to all the tax rules both in US as well as in India if you do those transactions. And you could have investment in other countries too. It's the same principle there. Let's make sure we follow everything and comply to the rules, and make use of the benefit we may have.
Yeah, so with that, thank you. This is our context, and also I thank you for everyone, for attending and also, being with us, listening about this. This is something area, I think, very interesting. It's always, keep attending our webinars. And again, thank you for the North South Foundation for, recognizing us, our webinars, and giving us opportunity. When we met last month in April, I think we met Vijay and we talk about this, what we do, and he said, yeah, definitely he would like to arrange one session for us. So we are happy, honored to be here and giving a education and also helping the community. If you guys are interested, one-on-one session, you can always contact us. We're happy to review, and any questions you want to ask, you can also ask with us as well. And also there is a WhatsApp group link we have there in the chat window also. If you guys want to join this group and ask questions, also attend our future, you can feel free to join as well. So with that, we can go with the question and answers.
Thank you, Jyoti and Praveen. It has been excellent presentation, and thank you for making it personalized for our group, with specific things, and very interesting topic, but huge topic. We try to cover as much. But before I go into the question and answer, I just wanted to ask you one more poll question. I want you to let me know if you are planning for some follow-up session in the financial education topic. Please let us know what is the topic you would be more interested in. We could only fit in 5 choices here, so I limited to the 5 choices, but there are a few more choices in our feedback questions. You can answer them also. So just quickly, let us know what we are, so that we will have Jyoti and Praveen prime for another session later, or if not them, it's somebody else. But at least we will have in our mind what the topic you will be interested in. I think if you could answer as quickly as possible, it will be better. Thank you. I want to keep going too much, and then Praveen and Jyoti, and please, and this requirement is all even in all across the choices we gave, but investment planning, people are talking about 35% of the people, and of course, college planning is the next big topic they are interested in, and then equally about retirement and tax and bills and this thing. So this is how our current audience would prefer to hear in future. So
Yeah. So
with that,
yeah. We do have a session on wills and trust this Thursday. If they want, I can share the Zoom link. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, we could arrange one from the North South Foundation as well. And also we could arrange along with the wills and trust, we could also arrange for the, proxy also, healthcare proxy.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I know there are so much of topics to go about. So we will continue talking about.
Also, since we have so many topics, we can also combine a couple of topics. For example, let's say we talk about college planning as well as the trust planning in one session. We could do that too. So, and if you have a forum like this, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks, Praveen. Yeah. Thanks for reminding, because we wanted this session to be the most general and then start stepping stone for our future topics if you ever want to cover. So in future, we will be more focused on specific one or two topics and then go about a little bit more detail. Without specifying any products, we just cover the fundamentals and what to look for and all those things.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me start with the questions, guys. I don't know whether we have enough time for this or not. They say, can you go over the rules for 529 plan funds being used for kids retirement planning? I don't know.
So you can. So again, we'll talk at a high level. 529 plan is a great way to save. So the growth is not taxed if it is used for college education, and also in some states you get the state incentive to make the investment in college planning. So those are the positive sides. There is also the downside you have to think about. So I give this example all the time. Let's say you really worked hard and saved 100,000 in 529, and then there is one more family, very similar income. They did everything same, except they didn't save anything on the college planning. Guess who gets the preference on the college scholarship, on the need-based scholarship? So that's a family which didn't save. So the rules are not fair, but that's how the rules are. So that's why we customize to advise and say, what is the best way to save? Maybe 529 is a good plan, may not be. So it depends on your family situation. That's where we need to go through your one-on-one situations.
Thank you. And then, something about good life insurance product, which I would refer them to talk to you directly about the product's details. But usually, what is a good age to buy term life versus permanent life products?
See, based on the term policies, right? We go by the responsibility. We have a method to calculate how much you need, right? How much you need a protection. Based on that, we'll diversify. Okay, do you need we always say that, let's say if the child is 5-year-old, right? And the family wants to protect themselves, right? We always say, okay, buy at least till the kid becoming independent. You have a 20 years of term policy. Same 20 years, but you don't get any money back when you buy in a term policy, but at least family is protected. You can buy as low as, depending on, we have how much mortgage you have, and then how many kids are in how much salary you make. So we have a calculation on that. Based on that, we'll determine how much life insurance you need, right? Then we think about, okay, if you can afford for the permanent policy, why can't you buy so that whatever money you put in, you will get back. Whereas a term policy, you pay and then you don't get anything back. It's like same as when Praveen also said, right? It's like renting an apartment versus buying a house. Which one you choose, right? So we determine based on your goal, based on your situation, based on how much you can contribute. So again, definitely you guys can have one session with us. Definitely we will go through in detail and educate you on that, and then go with the numbers.
Thank you. Let me see. So you were talking about the webinars you do. Somebody's asking what is the link to the webinars. So you.
Yeah, there is a group, WhatsApp group. If you join the WhatsApp group, we will put the web link there whenever we do it. Yeah.
Okay. So it's there in the chat already, and also in the presentation it is there. So you could subscribe to that if you want more information. The big advantage of that group is also that even if you don't think of some questions, somebody else might think of and ask that question, and you will get the answer too. Okay, so one is asking, what are your thoughts on high yield savings accounts?
Again, it's part of the diversification you need to have. So as we know, if you look at the treasuries, last couple of years is very attractive, right? So the yield that you get, just in the last 3 years, it went up anywhere from 1.5% to, depending on what kind of investment, you can get 7-8% return. But that is also variable, right? So it doesn't stay there. As the interest rates start coming down, then you will not get the same thing, right? So when you think about your savings for next long term, 15, 20, 30 years, you need to have that diversification. That could be part of the mix. That's where you need to rebalance your portfolio to see, where you can get the maximum benefit out of that. So that's why we offer, when we say diversify, so one of those slides said diversify, that's a key thing there. So your investment in, treasury could be part of your portfolio, but that's not the only portfolio.
Okay, thanks. I would like to be a part of the workshop regarding repatriation for funds from India to US to minimize taxes. So please suggest. So
we do have a webinar recording. If they want to watch it now, we can send it the recording. They can reach out to us, or they can wait for the next session. Usually, now people are more interested when the tax time, right? So we usually do it at the year end. That way they can, so, but if we do have a last year recorded one, we can share it.
Yeah. So you could contact Jyoti or Praveen directly and then get the details about the workshops. The next one is talking about life insurance. Is there a suggested minimum to keep in whole life insurance as we near retirement past 60, or should we convert our whole life policies to other investment tools using 1035 exchanges?
Yeah. So in my case, I did it. I converted my whole life to index universal life, and I added the long-term care riders. So we had to check whether companies allowed to do that. You could do that if you have enough cash value. You could do 1035, and because that money you can put it in index funds, you can have a better growth. And also, if you qualify for it, you can have long-term care riders into it. See, that also covers part of the protection of the long-term care. And also they have living benefits riders, critical, chronic illness, terminal illness happens within that policy. If you have that rider, then you get money when you get into these situations.
Okay, thank you. They are still asking me about the WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
I thought I sent it.
Yeah, there is in the chat window, we see that.
Yeah, somebody's they're not able to see it, but
So you can view the previous page and has our contacts in case if they cannot. Sometimes it's hard to copy the link, so maybe if you go to the previous, we have work. So
our contacts number, so you can message us, we will add you, or you can message Vijay also. He is admin as well. He can add us.
Yeah, I can add, or just send me an email to webinars. Then again, there was a question about good life insurance product for young adults, and I think I would direct them to talk to you directly.
I yeah, young adults, we do go through different scenarios. So, even any newborn baby also can buy policy.
Right. Yeah.
It's not the protection; it's just a cash value accumulation, tax-free cash accumulation. They can design it. Yeah, definitely they can talk to us.
Okay. And is there a maximum age you can claim your child as a dependent?
26. 26.
Oh,
26.
it's for the health insurance. So it depends on what that question is. If somebody, let's say, a child is buying a life insurance, parent can contribute towards that, with the assumption that at some point, the children will take over and they will pay for their own policy. We have this concept called $1 million baby, how we can start early and at the age 40, they could be a millionaire with the investment in protection itself. So yeah, it depends on the individual situations, but yes, parents can contribute.
Okay. I don't know what they meant really. Probably, is there a limit for tax purposes or?
It depends, how they're funding it. If they have a business, if they're making as a kid as employee, there are many, situation. We need to get more details to get the specific answer. So they can reach out or ask in a WhatsApp group. We are happy to address.
Okay. I don't see any more questions coming in now. If you have anything, please let us know. We strongly encourage you to join the group and then be a part of the conversation, or please go out and educate yourself on all these individual topics, because that's literally the whole life depends on it anyway. So
Thank you, Vijay. One other thing we want to, when we do this education session, we don't promote a product. We are not selling anything here. Our primary purpose is the education, and also the way we operate. We don't work for a company. We are independent consultants. So, we suggest the product that is best suits their background and their needs. So we are not, we're totally unbiased on that. The other thing is, Jyoti talked about in the beginning about the business opportunities also. There's a lot of people looking for, the second source of income, or let's say homemaker, trying to take care of the kid at the same time. You have some spare time and I want to start a business. We can definitely help on that aspects too.
Yeah. Or also, think about if money making may not be the criteria, but if you want to help the community, right, get educated and educate others. If you want to belong to us, what we do, let us know as well. Yeah. Also, we do have a license across nationwide. So even though we based in different states, but we can work with any carriers, as Praveen said, and also plus any states, and not bound to any particular states. Yeah, so thank you so much for your time, and anybody have any questions, join the group, and let's look forward to meeting you all in a one-on-one session, also future webinars.
Yeah, there is a question saying that, are you also CPAs?
No, we are licensed professionals, we are educators, but we do have a network of people work with us. For all the estate planning, we have a network of attorneys all over USA. We collaborate with them. Also for the tax planning, we do with the company, right, TaxMate, and for the webinars, we invite him to educate it. There is no obligation they need to use his services or our services, but we bring specializations on those topics and to cover from their end, because they have a more add-on to it, right? For investment planning also, like people who are looking for investment advice, we do have an investment a person who can guide on that investment. So we bring him to educate on those webinars. When we go deeper on those topics, we bring those people to educate.
Thank you. And the one last question I'll ask is, when can students start applying for the grants for college?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
So typically, when you think about college planning, there are different aspects of that. One is the college admission planning, right? So what colleges to go and other things. And the second thing is standardized test. And the third thing is essay writing and doing. And the most important thing is financial, right? So financials, you can start as early as the kid was born, but it gets more serious. And let's say students start attending when they're freshmen in high school. So, but if somebody is already, let's say, in junior in high school, it doesn't mean that it's too late to do this, right? So there's a lot of things you can do to maximize opportunities for both need-based and merit-based scholarships. So we give insight into that. It's never too late to start. The sooner is better.
Okay. And if there is any leftover money in 529 can be taken with after paying taxes, right?
You
Yes.
can, there are two ways. So now Biden administration is doing one more proposal where you can roll that over, but that's not final yet. But yeah, you can always take that money and pay the taxes. So when I talked about 529 earlier, that's the other downside. Let's say you're lucky, or your son or daughter is lucky and got the full scholarship. You don't need that money, then you end up paying taxes on that. So that's where you need to look into what are your other options where you may not be in that situation.
Yeah, another thing is, 529, people think only for the college tuition you can use it. No, you can use it for, whenever kid is in the college, you can even buying a laptop or, renting a place for when they're living in a college. You can use this for all the expenses, not just for tuition.
Yeah, including room and board and everything.
Yes, yes. Room and board, food, and also the commuting, everything, buying a laptop or phone bill, anything for that purposes you can take out the 529.
Okay. And do we need to report life insurance payout in CSS
No.
profile or FAFSA?
No,
The
we don't.
student is the beneficiary.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
there is a 401k, you don't have to report primary residence and the cash value life insurance. You don't have to report, and the salary. You don't have to report. That's where we go when we do the college planning session. We do one-on-one. We tell where is your money, based on that, what is countable and what is non-reportable. Yeah, life insurance you don't have to.
Great. Yeah. Thank you both again. I could see you have taken so much of efforts and time and patience to prepare this presentation, and also took your own time and patience to educate us with our questions. Some of them could not be, too fundamental. We want to continue talking about this and additional webinars we need in participation. And please weigh in your views on that, and please go through the feedback questions and let us know what really really interested in hearing from the experts.
Yeah. And
Thank
also,
you.
next
Yeah.
time invite the spouses to be part of also for our webinars, and include your friends also. Ask them to join and then get information on this.
Right. And then and if you want more personalized or a specific topic talk, you can always contact them. You have their contact information there. And thank you both Jyoti and Praveen for your patience and time, and thanks for educating us. We will hopefully meet again and do all over again in a different topic. And thank you all the audience for attending this session, and then I hope you benefited from learning all this information. But there is more to learn than what you have. We just scratched the surface here. We wish you all a pleasant summer, and we'll be back here with more interesting topics and discussions and during the coming fall and winter season. Please watch out for our announcement and register and attend the sessions. And before you leave, please fill in the feedback to let us know what you think, and hope to see you all right back here during the next webinar session. Thank you, everybody, and bye for now.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks everyone.